adultery, deception, divorce.
To the Princess of Wales, damnation.
A royal marriage doomed to failure.
I want to be loved by the people.
An ironic, familiar true story.
His wife was more popular than he was.
It says the prince has a mistress.
And it happened 200 years ago.
I have endured a great deal to become Queen of England.
This time I will get a divorce.
And that is what I shall be.
A royal scandal.
I won't go quietly.
On Rover Best of British, Saturday on 1.
Together we'll win.
5:30 with Jude is brought to you in association with the New Zealand Woman's Weekly and tonight's special sponsor, Woolworths Supermarkets.
Evening, welcome to 5:30 with Jude. Hope your day's been going well. Now, I wonder if you've had time to flick through a magazine today, being Magazine Week and all. Now, I've been having a great old time looking through these historical New Zealand Women's Weeklies. Back in, when was this one? May 1969. If you had time for a browse and a cuppa, you would have read about the 15 ways to get the new feminine look for 1969. All the knitting patterns, and the whole thing would have only cost you 10 cents. And it seems, look at this, chunky watches were all the rage. Aren't they beautiful? Anyway, time to move on tonight. Let's see what we've got on the menu for you. Tracy Davis teaches us how to lay the foundation of a good makeup.
And carry a little compact mirror with you so you can step outside and check the colour in the natural light.
Currying favour in the kitchen is Graham Wilkinson with a spicy Indian chicken dish. We have some expert resale hints if you're thinking of putting the house on the market.
If you've got a lot of furniture that you're not using or boxes, chuck them out.
And Simon meets a couple of climbers. No, not the social kind, but certainly the type you'd like to have in the garden if you're entertaining. But first, part 2 of our childcare series on raising boys. Now tonight we discuss how boys fare within the education system. Again, we hear the views of Australian psychologist Steve Bidoff, as well as talk to some teenage lads and find out firsthand about their experiences. And failure for boys. They're performing a lot worse than girls in many aspects of education. They make up the majority of early school failures, truants, and those getting expelled. And while you might think that this sort of thing happens a lot further down the track, actually it starts to rear its head at these early stages of schooling.
Boys develop at a different rate, and so boys are much slower in gaining what are called fine motor skills. We think boys should wait a year longer before they start primary school. So then they'll be ready to sit still and hold the scissors and hold the pen. If they are pushed in at the same age as girls, they'll move around all the time because their body's craving for exercise, and then they're called a bad boy.
Boys will be boys, and that means recognising their need to play it rough.
Most parents would be aware that at certain ages boys get very boisterous. One of them is 14, which we're seeing here. The other age, which is actually caused by a testosterone surge in a boy's body, is at about 5 years of age. And what it means is that little boys will love to wrestle. And if their fathers are willing to get down on the carpet or on the back lawn and play rough and tumble games with them, part of what happens then is the boys learn to be safe, because when they lose their temper, get a bit too serious, the father can say, stop, hold on. And they're learning how to be excited without getting angry.
So is dividing the sexes the answer to improving a boy's education?
When there aren't girls around, boys will actually be more willing to feel free. And there's arguments both ways about co-education in schools, but one of the things is that boys learn English much better if there aren't girls around showing them up. And so we now believe that you should separate boys in secondary English, so the boys will write poems and they will go into writing about feelings and things like that. The girls are usually better at it, but they're better off in another class somewhere else where they won't kind of get in each other's hair and make each other feel inhibited.
This is my first year at Westlake Boys, and I found a real huge difference in an all-boys school. I found it easier, like the competition a bit easier, mainly because I was in an all-girl English class. I was the only boy last year, and I found it I really struggled, because I found that the girls are really Mainly I sort of let myself down, saying that, oh, the girls are really good at English. But I really proved to myself this year so far that I can do English in an all-boys school and be up there.
Another problem is the lack of male teachers in primary education.
Boys look at schooling and they think it's a feminine activity. Books, reading, writing, sitting at a desk are feminine because they don't see any men teachers doing that.
I certainly had all female teachers all through primary. The discipline isn't there, and also, of course, you're looking for a male model, somebody to follow at that age, and if you don't have it, that's a real problem.
Boys like discipline. They like to be in a school where there's a hierarchy and they know who's boss, but they also need praise and recognition.
Learning a few disciplines on the home front is a good idea too.
When I get home from school, I take out the washing and fold it and fold all the nappies the right way. And
I do like all my own bits and pieces at home. I'm definitely ironing my own clothes and tidying my bed and vacuuming and making my lunch. And I do cook baked beans for tea when they're not there, so that's about as adventurous as it gets.
It's a far cry from a typical Asian father who does nothing. So I think it is a very, very good idea to get the father, even the father in the family, to do something. So it encourages the son to have his share of the house chores.
Well, I'm impressed. The new age man is becoming a domestic. Nice bunch of guys Westlake Boys High is helping to nurture. Thanks so much for your time and your thoughts. Now do stay with us because very shortly Graham Wilkinson curries up some chicken. And if you're wondering what sort of foundation to base your look on, the Weekly's fashion editor Tracy Davis investigates for you.
Everybody loves a lover, real food lovers. Everybody loves you. Guess you would call us real food lovers too. We love what we do, especially for you. That's why you buy it fresher.
Woolworths, where you find the real fresh food people.
For the real food lover in view.
I once fell in love with satay sauce through some Malaysian friends. But I'll show you my little way. Now, stir all this in for 5 minutes. Then, a magic shortcut. Continental's Malaysian creamy satay. And after a minute, a bit of peanut butter. Give that 5 minutes and... fabulous.
You and Continental, just brilliant.
I think my friends would be impressed.
What you're looking for is another Arnott's mint slice.
I understand just how you feel. I understand just what is real. What's true to you is true to me. I understand. I understand.
An Osram energy-saving light bulb consumes 80% less electricity and lasts 10 times longer than a standard light bulb. Save money with Osram.
There's only one feeling that can describe the taste of new Olivio spread. Enjoy the simple pleasures in life. Olivio spread, made with olive oil.
On this holiday, discover that the unknown shouldn't be avoided. It should be embraced. Where rush hour is a foreign concept. And where rejuvenation isn't just an idea, it's destiny. First selection from Air New Zealand Holidays. Book one and get out while you still can.
John Grisham, from the world's most popular author, The Partner. It was either the fourth or fifth call from the neighbors that sent Mrs. Stefano over the edge. But it also forced Jack to tell his wife the truth. John Grisham, the partner.
Ordinary rice can become sticky during cooking, but Uncle Ben's rice special preparation gives you perfect fluffy rice that never sticks and great natural taste. Uncle Ben's, perfect rice every time.
Nowadays, we're spoilt for choice when it comes to choosing a foundation formula for our skin. Gone are the days when a dull, heavy foundation made for a flattering complexion. The new generation of foundations look like skin, only better.
Tracy, this is a liquid foundation I'm applying. Choose one to suit your skin type, oil-free for an oily skin, and light reflecting to minimise fine lines and imperfections. Then we have tinted moisturisers, and these are moisturisers and makeup in one. They protect the skin whilst giving a very sheer, natural look, which makes them perfect for a young and flawless skin. Compact foundations are a great invention because they're portable, come with a sponge, and easy to carry around for touch-ups. But most brands can be applied wet or dry.
When shopping for foundation, leave your face bare so you can match it to your exact skin colour. And don't be tempted into buying a darker shade to warm up your complexion. It'll always look unnatural. Dab the foundation onto your jawline and blend it in lightly. And carry a little compact mirror with you so you can step outside and check the colour in the natural light. See you next week.
And if you're having trouble applying the foundation because you can't see in the mirror, this home hint may help. To prevent steaming up, rub soap over the mirror and polish it off with a clean cloth.
The spice trade has provided great economic value since the year 2000 BC, and for many centuries, Arab traders controlled the distribution of spices across the continent into India. Today, these spices are readily available because they are grown around the globe. The spice centre has now moved from the Orient and is now located in London and in New York. When cooking with spices, make sure that you fry the spices. This just intensifies the flavour and really brings out those powerful aromas. So we're just going to fry that just for a couple of seconds. You can really smell that flavour coming through. Give them a little bit of a stir, but just make sure that they don't burn. Next thing we're going to put into there is one whole onion, so tip in that onion. And I've got some garlic here. I've got about 4 cloves of garlic there that's just been roughly chopped. You can reduce the amount of garlic if you wish. And we also just need to put in a little bit of grated ginger. These are a handy little tool, this one. So just grate a little bit of ginger into there. Probably about a teaspoonful altogether. You can really smell those spices there already. Might need to add a tiny little bit more olive oil to that one, because those spices, they actually absorb up the oil in there. It's almost like a thickening agent. So simmer that one. Now, the dish we're going to be making from this is a chicken curry, and it's going to be served in a really nice sour cream crust, which is a really easy crust to make. So we'll just get that chicken sizzling away. We just want to seal it on all the sides. Just get the browning going there. You can hear that sizzle. Just give it a good stir. The colours on there are quite magnificent already. The turmeric and coriander in there, a little bit of cumin into there. And I've also got some lemon zest into there and a little bit of chilli powder. So I'll put a tiny little bit of salt into there and a little bit of ground black pepper. Just give it a nice coating of black pepper. Handy little machine as well. And once all that chicken's cooked and sealed on all sizes, all we're actually doing there once the chicken's cooking is really locking in the juices. So it's important that you cover it on all sides. Give it a good sizzle. And I've got around about a tablespoonful of flour in there. That just helps to thicken up the dish. Probably going to be sufficient there. Give that a good stir in again. To this you need to add half a can of tomatoes. I'm just using the What Is plum tomatoes in there, but you can use some chopped tomatoes. And half a can of coconut cream. Just pour that into there. And that's going to give you a really nice sauce. Just bash those tomatoes up, chop them up nicely. Now we're just going to leave that to simmer just for 4 to 5 minutes and we'll start making the crust. And to give it a really authentic Indian flavour, just throw in a couple of curry leaves into there as well. and leave it to simmer. While that's simmering, I will make the sour cream crust. Now, the ingredients you need for this one is around about 3 cups of self-raising flour. Place that into the mixing bowl. You don't need to sift it, very easy. If you want, you can put a little sprinkle of curry powder in there, that's optional. And you need around about a tablespoonful of chopped parsley, 300 grams, or just about 300 grams of sour cream. Pour that one into there, scrape it in. Very, very easy sour cream crust is this one. Place that into there. And I've got 125 grams of softened butter. Just move that one into there. In it goes. And then all you do is just give it a real good mix up. Now, you can do this with a wooden spoon, or you can wash your hands and give them a good mix up in there as well. So we'll just give that a real good mix. And the last ingredient you need to put into there is just 1 egg, just to bind it together. Give that a good mix up, and in with a nice clean hands. Just give it a good knead on there. And then bring over your prepared dish. Now, this one's been lightly oiled and a little bit of flour into there. So you want the pastry to be quite thick, and you can bring it quite high up the sides of the dish. Bringing it up, making sure it's all sealed. And then you need to add the chicken, which has been simmering on the stove there. So pile in that chicken. You can leave the curry leaves in there as well, that's not a problem. And all you do is put a little bit of tin foil across the top of that one, place that into the oven on a 180 for 35 minutes, 10 minutes before the cooking time. Remove the tin foil, and the crust will brown up really nicely. And you've got a really nice, spicy Indian dish ready for dinner tonight.
You can find Graham's recipe on page 68 of this week's issue, or at a Woolworths supermarket. Ask at the service counter for their cook card series. Thanks, Graham. Who needs to travel when you can experience the culinary delights of another country in your own home? After the break, Simon Farrell introduces us to some plants that will go far. And we hear some expert advice about how to make the most of your house if you plan to sell.
Tonight at 6, the company that created Dolly, the controversial cloned sheep, sets up shop in New Zealand.
Bank charges for personal banking. Are we being ripped off?
And Marina missed out on Miss Universe, but an Auckland construction worker looks set to conquer the catwalk.
On Homes tonight, did you hear the one about the shoplifter who got so sick of waiting for the police she phoned them herself?
And here's me, I'm ringing the police myself, saying, look, come on, let's get this over and done with.
Yes, another story of the police delays. Homes tonight at 7.
I once fell in love with satay sauce through some Malaysian friends. But I'll show you my little way. Now, stir all this in for 5 minutes. Then, a magic shortcut. Continental's Malaysian creamy satay. And after a minute, a bit of peanut butter. Give that 5 minutes and... fabulous.
You and Continental, just brilliant.
I think my friends would be impressed.
Ordinary rice can become sticky during cooking, but Uncle Ben's rice special preparation gives you perfect fluffy rice that never sticks and great natural taste. Uncle Ben's, perfect rice every time.
On this holiday, discover the place where they invented relaxation. Where schedules are to be avoided. But where playgrounds are also made for grown-ups. First selection from Air New Zealand Holidays. Book one and get out while you still can.
Do you wear a denture? Then the chances are big juicy steaks frighten you, so you cut them into little bits. Well, try Super Polygrip. With Polygrip's special Ultra Hold formula, you'll enjoy a firmer fit and hold. And that's the power of Polygrip.
Here's an amazing trade-in offer from Sleepyhead in Smith City. This Golden Sleep queen-size mattress and base comes with a special air-conditioned covering and torque zone for correct support. And with Smith City's amazing $500 guaranteed trade-in for anything you can sleep on, it's just $2,199. And with up to 30 months to pay, it's less than $22 a week. So for Sleepyhead, why would you dream of going anywhere else?
Smith City has it all.
Pro
Natura's annual sale is not to be missed. Exclusive furniture of unmistakable quality imported from France. Now at sale prices which will impress. Plus Pro Natura luxury beds, underquilts and pillows. It's the one sale you must not miss, and it's on now.
Welcome back to 5:30 with Jude. One Network News is looming large on the horizon, but if you've just tuned in, you're in time to catch Simon Farrell coax some climbers to scale new heights. That's in just a tick. But right now, let's see what we can do with minimum effort to give our homes maximum advantage.
Your house is, or how much it's worth, if you spend the time preparing your house, it really does reap. It's always practical, but with a few coloured scattered rugs, they do look really good. And to go along with that, if you do your walls in neutral colours, pale pinks, lemons, white, you may think it's boring, but it opens the way for potential buyers to visualise their own colour schemes easier than if your walls are garish colours. If you've got a lot of furniture that you're not using, or boxes, chuck them out. Get rid of them, put them into storage, because you want to make your house look as spacious as you possibly can. A vase of colourful flowers and a few well-chosen knickknacks are all you need to add a touch of colour. They also help create a homely feel without adding clutter. Pull up the blinds too and make the most of natural light. Fireplaces really do sell houses at this time of the year especially, so if you've got a fireplace and you know that people are coming to your home, light it. It makes the house feel nice and warm and cosy and gives a welcoming feel throughout. Buying a home is an emotional purchase, and it's usually us women, sorry boys, that make the decision. So think about what you would like to see in your next kitchen. Cleanliness is a must, so sparkle up those tiles, polish the taps, clean up the sink, and make sure all the surfaces look like new, even if they're not. The same goes for the bathroom. Fix any leaky taps. Make sure all light fittings work and replace any cracked windows.
We've all got one of these in the garden. Ye old ugly shed wall or fence. Now a climbing plant can disguise this, provide colour and texture and shelter besides.
They're easy to grow and there's a huge variety of climbers to choose from. So let's get started.
Now we need to understand the social behaviour of these plants. This behind me here is the good old rose Dublin Bay, probably one of New Zealand's most popular roses. It's a true social climber, a real aristocrat you could say. Over here, quite differently, this is the Boston ivy, and you'd have to say it's a real clinger. In fact, the only way it's going to support itself in life is if it can get its tentacles onto something. So it loves trellis for starters. And this here is what you'd have to regard as a twiner, the good old potato vine. And you need to really weave it in and out of the trellis to make it look anything but a weed. I'll show you how to plant it. The first thing that we need is some really good drainage in the bottom of the pot. It's always a handy thing. I like to use pumice sand or scoria, and here we've got some really good pumice sand, variable size. Always use a tub mix of some sort. Really, using the garden soil is such a waste. It goes like concrete. So we'll fire a bit of this into here, and then we'll get into this bag. A quick slice up the sides. Always makes it easier for getting the plant out. It's a bit of a bound up root system we've got here. So we'll just break that up just a little. Nothing particularly technical about that. So you'd have to ask, why have we selected it? Tell you why. Because the ye old shed wall is going to get covered mighty quickly with a potato vine. Don't worry about the fact that it has a tendency to flop over at this stage. We'll rectify that. bit more mix can go in. Now the next step is to cut away the bamboo canes so that we can get the plant climbing onto the trellis. Now in with a bit of twisty tie to obviously take the place of where the bamboo canes left off.
To care for your vines, generally prune straight after blooming, except roses, and train stems to grow horizontally across the support.
The good old potato vine, looking better already. It's going to cover the old eyesore here probably in about 8 months, particularly if you give it plenty of water, plenty of food, they love it, and you'll be rewarded with flowers probably 12 months of the year.
Yep, they flower heaps and grow like weeds. I made the novice's mistake and planted 2 of the things in close proximity. And now I have a regular battle controlling my potato vine jungle. They are pretty though, and they certainly provide privacy in a real hurry. Well, that's it for tonight, doggies. Hope you've enjoyed the show, and we'll be back tomorrow to catch me collaring the dogs with some fancy finery. Now, what I'm going to do tonight is use one of these bitties here that I've got from a sewing shop or a haberdashery shop or a craft shop. I'm going to use this one here. Get some craft glue. Now again, you can get that from a craft shop. It would pay though to use one that is water resistant that you can wash. That's all in 24 hours time, so tune in. Time to go though. We'll leave you with a snippet of something interesting coming up real soon. One New Week News is up next. See you tomorrow. Night-night.
Cacti can be contagious. Grow one and you'll want to grow more. Start small and I'll guarantee you'll end up with a collection.
Did you realise that you can actually take cuttings from cactus so that, heaven forbid, you can actually make more of them?
5:30 with Jude was brought to you in association with the New Zealand Woman's Weekly.